Hey, everybody. Welcome to Melissa Rivers live signing. I'm Andrew Krasny alongside the one and only Melissa Rivers.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, Mel. What's happening?
Just hanging out, waiting to sign some books live.
I think, first of all, I want to welcome everybody officially to Melissa Rivers live signing. Premiercollectibles.com/lies is where we want everyone to go to buy the book that everybody is talking about. And the book that everybody is talking about is this book, Lies My Mother Told Me. And if it's not on the bestseller list, it's got to be within moments, Mel.
I certainly hope so. Everyone seems to be really enjoying it, but I do think we need to disclose that this is not the first time we've met.
We haven't. We've known each other a long time. We met on Tinder 3 weeks
Yep.
ago.
Yep.
And no, Melissa and I have known each other for, I don't want to say how long. I used to think it was cool, but now it just makes me feel old. But I can't lie when it comes to dates and ages. We've known each other for over 40 years
Which is so alarming, but you are older than me, so that always makes me feel better.
by a couple minutes. And I think what's so special, first of all, Mel, we have a huge history. We're going to go into that, I'm sure, because we have a while to talk today. I keep cutting my head off on this. I'm not great at Zoom calls, by the way, but I think what's so unique and what I really want to find out from you is that what prompted you to write this book full of lies, full of crazy stories, and it is beyond hysterical. I find myself laughing out loud. I got it. I'm a host in tennis, as some of you might not know, or who cares. But I got the book just in time to get on the airplane coming home from a tournament in Charleston. And I was literally laughing out loud on the airplane, which is always an embarrassing thing to do, right? And people are like, why are you laughing so hard? I said, you'll never believe it, but you got to take a, and the lady sitting next to me took a look at one paragraph and turned away.
In horror, or because she was logging on to buy it?
No, she was. It just, you got to be careful who you're sitting next to on an airplane for 4.5 hours. And she
Well,
saw
someone's
something
sitting
about,
next to you.
right, but it was
So
something about,
already you're in trouble.
it was something about Marie Osmond's mom had so many babies that, and I just will let the readers, I don't want to blow it for them, but it is like things were just falling out of her vagina. And I thought it was so damn funny, Melissa, that I have to ask you first and foremost is why the book? What prompted you to write this book? Where was it? Where did it emanate from? Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay, so the beginning is basically when all this cancel culture really got into crazy time. And everybody was asking me, what would your mom be saying and how would she handle it? And right when COVID began, my writing partner, Larry Ambrose, who Andrew knows,
Who is probably one of the funniest guys in the world.
one of the funniest human beings alive. And I were like, we need to write an article and kind of address this. So we started, and then we're like, nobody really wants to hear a serious answer from me. Maybe they do, but just not really. So then we're
Right,
like, wouldn't it be fun to write the history of the world as told by my mother?
right.
And we had a stumbling block on the island of Elba and Napoleon being there in exile and there not being a Starbucks.
Okay.
But we
So
realized
were you drinking? Were you on shrooms? Like what?
no, we just were amusing ourselves while right when quarantine began.
Which we all were doing, right? We all
Right,
had to be really creative.
right. So then we decided, there's something about we live in this, we say we like to live in this truth adjacent world right now.
Right.
So we're like, what are lies my mother would be telling? And it just kind of morphed from there. And, all parents lie to kids. And it just went
Snowballed.
from there. It just snowballed from that point on.
But when you look back at your mom, Mel, and the fact that she had the ability to navigate through truth and falsehoods like nobody I've ever known in my life, right? To the point where A, nothing was fact checkable, and B, everything, and I'm finding this in your book too, that I feel that there's tons of truths throughout all these crazy farces. Like
Which is
there's,
alarming.
right. I mean,
I mean,
nothing,
and you
'cause-
knew her, and she was fun and smart and would do anything for a laugh,
right.
but she also would not ever try and sell me on, I'd say on about 98% of what I write in the book.
I think, but what amazed me the most about the book, and by the way, everybody, I want you to go to premiercollectibles.com/lies to buy a copy of this book. I get 3 cents a book, and I get a used B pin from QVC. But I do have to say that what made the hair stand up on my arm, what's left of the hair on my arms, because I'm old, but it made the hair stand up on my arms, that I felt that your mom was in that room along with you and Larry writing this book. There's tons of your mom sprinkled in this book. There's tons of you sprinkled in this book. Larry must have managed to juggle it and put it all together like a master chef. But there's a ton of weird truths in there. As crazy as it is, there's a lot. I mean, we were in Vegas.
Oh yeah, there's some locational truths. People say, well, we had Thanksgiving dinner, so
Right.
That's true. I spent time in Vegas growing up. That's true. We knew
Right.
Siegfried and Roy. That's true. I never made them
Right.
cry.
Right.
There's about a thing about meeting the Pope at theater. She
Right.
did not know the Pope, nor have a text relationship with him.
But she would tell you, you would
But
believe
she
her.
would try and convince me she did. So I think a lot of it is also, which was so much fun, especially now, to get to write in my mother's voice.
Right.
And, my voice is also very exaggerated in
Right.
it as well. So it was just fun. And it was funny.
But Melissa, it's liberating in a way, right? When you look back at, as someone who did write for your mom on and off throughout my career, to be able, actually my first job was answering her fan mail when she got too busy to answer fan mail, but she still approved every letter. But to be able to write in her voice a little bit must be cathartic for you in a way, and to allow you to continue to have her part, because when we lose somebody, they're still a major part of our heart. But it must have been interesting to be able to continue to speak for her and to write in her voice and to look at life through her glasses for a little while.
Everyone keeps asking if it was cathartic. I don't know if it was cathartic, but for me, it really allowed the comedic instincts in me
Right.
fly.
Right. Which you've not, I have to say.
I've never really had I've never been allowed to do.
Right. Because you always played the straight guy, right?
Exactly.
So you always set your mom up and you giggled reluctantly. But
Rolled
she
my
got you.
eyes.
Right. But now here's an opportunity for you to experience that rush. And have you thought about maybe, dare I say, going out on the road?
No.
Not at all?
No.
But you're funny.
But I have no desire to do stand-up. I like being funny. I made my mother always said that I made her laugh.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I would love to, I'd love a show. I'd love to be able to do a talk show. I'd love to be able to do something like that, which is very often what I do on my podcast.
Right.
And
Tell us about your podcast. For those of us who have not seen a lot of it, and we have some time today. By the way, go to premiercollectibles.com/lies to get a copy of Melissa's new book, Lies My Mother Told Me. But tell us about your podcast.
My podcast is called Melissa Rivers Group Text. And, it's sort of a no holds barred conversation with celebrities and reality stars and experts. It's really, I mean, we have tackled some very heavy topics, but I try and bring a sense of enjoyment, whether it be because you're learning something, because you're dealing with something, because you're talking about something that's difficult, with the goal of ending up happier at the end. But, so many of the celebrity interviews and things like that, it's just fun.
Right.
Everything doesn't need to be so heavy. We all need to give our brains a rest.
Which is what this book is doing for sure, I think.
For
right?
sure.
It gave you a rest to write it.
Nothing that you will not, as I say, sprain your brain reading this book.
Are you going to do it on tape?
I already have. That should be coming out any minute. And you just
nice.
dated us by not saying, is there an audio book?
Oh, well, listen, I talked about the other day of giving some, I had a performer from The Voice at a tennis tournament, and I said, do you want me to give out some of your CDs?
Oh.
Yeah, that was the worst.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
bad.
I
At
tell
least you
everybody.
didn't ask for a mixtape.
I'm- Melissa, you start the book apologizing to Cooper. Why?
Because I just feel so bad about his DNA and where it might lead him one
Does he
day.
have a panic room? Does Cooper have a panic room to get
He
away
has
from
an
all the
emotional
madness?
panic room.
Does he?
It's called hanging up on me and
Does,
not returning texts.
how was writing the book? Did it help you with motherhood? Did it help you navigate? Because COVID couldn't have been easy. I think Cooper
No,
came home.
Cooper was a
Uh,
freshman in college and he came
right,
home and it was just the two of us. And since I was still, not, still empty, freaking out about empty nesting and all that, I was so happy to have him. And he was just like, I'm in hell. But we ended up actually, it was one of the better things that ever happened. We've always had a great relationship, but it was actually really good for our relationship. We learned how to fight better,
right.
which was is just a great tool.
So
Because
who
we
won
had
the
nowhere to go. We had to learn how to resolve things and let them go quickly.
right and get through it? I think that there are a lot of obviously COVID has been the most horrendous thing that we've experienced in a long time, but I do think that it's not all bad, right? It allowed us to get closer to our family members.
Mhm.
It allowed us to get more creative. Like who knows
Mhm.
if this book would have ever happened if we didn't run into COVID. Who knows if you and Larry would have been sitting down and talking about this, or you were talking to your editor and it became
A thing.
yeah,
I mean,
right?
but also if we wanna be serious for a minute, the most important thing that has come out of COVID in sort of a long range view is the ability to discuss mental health
Right. 100
openly and honestly,
right.
and the importance of that, and everyone being much more aware that it's okay to ask for help, that you're feeling things that are normal, especially for the next generation and for these kids who have been so deeply affected by it.
Yeah, it's
And
hitting everybody in every aspect, in every field. It's hit
yeah,
us in tennis. Naomi Osaka's been very outspoken. Marty
yeah,
Fish, who you know,
yeah.
in my world as well. It's something that I think has been, sent under the doormat for enough time now, and it's very, very, very late
And
for
I've
us.
done so much work within being a mental health and suicide prevention advocate.
Right,
Um, it's it's so important that this is no longer a taboo subject. And that's, if one thing good comes out of that, that is definitely what it is. And it's such an important topic, and to understand that mental health is simply just a part of health.
right. We have this
You
stigma.
can't separate physical health and mental health.
No, because you have heartburn, you run out and you take Tums. I still keep Tums in my pocket. I wonder who
Those
I
are for
got
my
that from.
dad. My dad always carried Tums.
Okay, so I have Tums with me all the time. From what Edgar taught, Edgar, your dad taught me to carry Tums with me at all times, and he taught me or took me to buy my first box of nice stationery when I was still in high school.
Oh,
Okay, and we went
whoa.
to Francis Orr in Beverly
Francis
Hills
Orr.
in 1981, and I still send thank you notes as you do as well. But I think Melissa, you get a stomach ache, you run and take Tums. You get a headache, you take your Advil. Your back is sore, you take a leave. But there's this stigma in society that wait a minute, it's horrible. You can't take something to slow your brain down. You can't take something to get you out of a rut of a constant depression. And we have to make it okay in society to understand that if your wires aren't going in the direction they need to go, it's okay to take something to help them go back into the right direction. There's no shame.
No, there's no shame in asking for help, asking for therapy, just letting people know that you're not okay.
Right. It's okay
There's
to do that.
yeah, and it's how you look and how you feel are different things.
Melissa, to on
Like,
that
I
note,
look like I like you.
today you do because this was business, but when we get off, you'll get back to hating me. But
Of
how
course.
much would you say laughter has helped you get through some of the most horrendous and painful deep, deep, deep canyons of your journey through life? How important was it to your mom? How important is it to you now? And how grateful are you that humor is something in your DNA?
So grateful. So grateful that I come from a family that solves everything. Even in the worst of times, we find a way to laugh,
Right.
even at things that aren't necessarily funny. And that's such a saving grace for for all of us. And, I see that starting to happen with Cooper. He still gets really like, "This is not funny." And then I'm like, "You gotta laugh. You
You
got."
have to.
And one of my parents' first like little production company was called Laugh or Die. And
Mhm.
it's true. You have to you have to, even in the darkest of times,
You have
you
to.
have to you have to. You just
I
have to love it. And I'm very lucky that I was blessed with that ability.
I remember when my grandmother died, your mom wanted to spend some alone time in view in the casket so she could get jewelry. And but literally said that to my
Or
whole
like when my
family.
mother hung up on you after the earthquake.
She hung up after me after the earthquake. I
My
can't
mother
say which
called my mother couldn't find me after the one of the bigger earthquakes in LA.
because you had the fancy phones at your house. I was living in my first apartment and had regular phones that just plugged into the wall that weren't electric.
Right.
She
And
couldn't
I
find
guess
you.
my phones were out and she couldn't find me, so she called Andrew. And
Well, I can't say it on here, what she said, but when I picked up the phone and said hello, and it was 4:30 in the morning, she was on the treadmill. It was 4:30 in the morning
it
in
was in New York.
California. She was in New York, and the minute she heard my voice, she said the F word and hung up, which was
No,
her way.
you said, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And you said, "Yes," and then she hung up.
Yeah, she goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I said yes, and she goes, "F word," and hung up the phone. And it was her way of A, making sure that I was okay, and B, had to remind me that she didn't care,
Yeah,
but she did care.
of course she cared.
We played practical jokes on each other all the time. Your mother would, 2 weeks before my birthday, would order roses from the florist and would say to the florist, "Get the roses now, let them die, so in 2 weeks you can deliver them to Andy dead," on a daily
Yep,
basis.
but that's again kind of how we're wired, and that's probably why you and I became friends and you became so close with my parents.
I think so. I think that I realized at 16 or 17 years old that you had to get through life by being funny. And I don't know. I think your mom made me realize, I think my parents did as well. My dad's a big joker. My mom has become funnier throughout life. But I think that I learned from your mom, it validated that I should pursue a career where I can be funny, even though I'm not a comic by any stretch. But I do believe that 80% of my work is being able to be funny behind the scenes with the tennis players that I work with. And it's just an interesting thing to, I think you have to laugh. And it's people who don't laugh, which is an interesting thing that I wanted to talk to you about too. There was a guy who won a Tony Award. You'll know his name in a minute, but said that you have to surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming or when you walk into a room. And how important I think that was to your mom, and how important it is to you, that we need to surround ourselves with people who allow us to shine, allow us to be who we are, and who want to be on our vacation, like be on our cruise. You know what I mean? Why would you want to go on a vacation? Don't answer this question because we've been
I
on
think that's
vacation
why I've never
together.
invited you.
But we have been on vacations together. But why would you want people to go on vacation with you who don't have your same vision and goals of how to enjoy themselves, right?
100%.
So do you
100.
surround
But
yourself?
that's why, but the thing is, and to get back to the book, um, I'm really touched that you believed all of the lies my mother ever told you about how much she liked you.
I know. Well, no, I know. I do. I have to say, I did fall for that one.
Yeah.
Premiercollectibles.com/lies for this book. I'd like to take a break for a second and go to a adult diaper commercial. No, I'm just kidding. I want to get some questions from
Yes.
some people who knew that we were doing this and have bought a book and have earned the privilege, if I may say so, to ask you a live question because they're going to get an autographed book from you. But we have Teresa from Kentucky. Who inspired you growing up, and advice you would give to someone who is looking for their purpose in life? That's a great
Ooh,
question, Teresa,
who inspired me?
because you could have gone in many directions, Mel.
I'm trying to give a real answer.
Well, we have a serious question.
Yeah, I thought you were meaning that I could have also ended up a serial killer.
No, what I say is that you could have, and I've said this to many people. I go back to seeing you in seventh grade when you were in Once Upon a Mattress, to when you went to an Ivy League college where you could have pursued law, you could have pursued a medical field, you could have pursued
Yeah,
a million different directions, right? You're
yeah.
much smarter than me,
Well,
which
that's the
is
truth.
right. So
Let
I'm
me answer the question.
curious.
Let me answer the
Yeah,
Who inspired me? Um, it's such a default answer to say your parents, but I'm always inspired by people who work hard,
right,
you know, and people who just put their head down and go. So it's more of a trait
right.
than necessarily a person.
But
And I
out of
think all
your
the people that have inspired me have had that trait.
right. And I would say that, listen, dinner parties at your house growing up, whether you want to throw some into the book and make up that Napoleon was there, but what about the real ones who were at your house growing up? Rowdy McDowell, Vincent and Coral Price,
Laurence
Mae West,
Olivier.
right? Like
Yeah.
to be able to be at the dinner table with those had to be inspiring to you as well.
It was the flow of conversation that was so inspiring. It was the wittiness, the rapport,
Right,
and I learned a lot, and what it comes down to is, and I think it's what's made me a good interviewer, listening.
right. Listen. And one thing that people might not realize is that your mom very, very methodically choreographed her dinner parties.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was, right? There was never an accident. There was seat, 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 seat. And everyone brought something to the conversation
Mhm.
where she could actually sit back, and it was almost like a vacation for her to let things happen as opposed to feeling the pressure to make things happen at dinner,
Yes.
right?
What was the second part of the question?
So, and I love this because I want to chime in on it after you do, but for someone who's looking to find their purpose,
My mother spoke at an event at my right before my college graduation that was part of the weekend, and she was always pissed because it was not one of the speakers that got like an honorary degree.
right?
So what she always said was, find something you love to do, and if you're lucky, someone will pay you to do it.
Right. That's amazing advice, right?
And how do you find purpose? You just try anything and everything. I think all of us wake up every day and say, "What's my purpose?" And it
Right.
wasn't until I had Cooper that I realized that my purpose is being a parent.
But Cooper, there could be one of 15 fathers for Cooper, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
if you, I want to see if you can say that without cracking a smile. But here's what's interesting. So you're saying that you were in your 30s and
Early,
having a child, uh,
like very early 30s.
very early 30s, so late 20s. Okay, so you were 12.
Yeah.
But I think so that's interesting. Teresa, who asked that question, is everyone's purpose is different, right? But I think
Yes.
that your mom used to say to me all the time too is that everyone looks at the year when they look at your tombstone, they look at the year you're born and the year you die, right? And there's that little tiny dash in between that it's up to us to make that as fulfilling and as large as possible, right? It looks like a small dash when we're all said and done, but it's a huge dash, right? It's what pumps blood through our veins, and that's how I ended up going in my direction with the help of your mom.
Yeah. And then I also, I obviously my work is my purpose and this is my purpose, but I can honestly say I did not know until they handed me my son that was going to be the greatest gift ever and that my purpose is being a parent.
Right.
And I know that's so weird because no one ever thought of me as maternal. I'm not like goo goo gaga over babies.
Well, you tried to put him on eBay 2 days after he
I,
was born.
details,
Okay. But thank
details.
God no one bought him.
Thank God the minimum, the reserve was not hit.
What was it? There's a part of your book, Melissa, that I fantasize I might have a little bit to do with, but it talks a question from someone here. I'm going to answer. I want to find out who it is. From Diane in Los Angeles. Your mom had a sibling growing up. Did your dad have siblings?
No, my dad was an only child.
So your mom had a sibling. Did you regret not having a sibling? Although you and I were very brotherly, sisterly, but did you regret not having a sibling? Is what Diane in Los Angeles wants to know.
Yes. And I didn't regret it growing up. I regret it now because there's no one who shares the same memories of me. We don't, there's no one who has that common thread through their life where I can turn to them and say, "Do you remember when Aunt blah 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 did XYZ?"
Right.
And
See,
so
that's tough.
yeah, it's now in life that I'm sorry I don't have a sibling.
Well, I have you covered from 14 and on, right?
Yeah,
Real quick.
but you're acting like you knew everything.
Well, I knew a lot. Larry Sherman is asking on Facebook Live where he can get a signed copy of your book. Larry, premiercollectibles.com/lies is where Melissa's literally, she's multi-purposing right now. She's signing books right now while we're doing this interview, which by the way, we still have a little bit of time. You can literally get Melissa's autographed book, Lies My Mother Told Me, by going to premiercollectibles.com/lies.
And anyone who buys it there will get a signed book. So
And
they're
yep,
actually
you'll
like
get,
right here. As I
it's
reach
not
over.
signed by Melissa, but it's signed.
There you
Look
go.
at that. So Melissa, will you do me a favor? Will you literally sign Larry Sherman's book right now?
Well,
So Larry,
Larry Sherman needs to buy his book.
but Larry, if you buy a book right now, Larry, I get 3 cents, but if you buy a book, you'll get the book that Melissa's signing right now. It's her. 100%.
It's me. It's not, and I'm too neurotic. My dad always said, never, ever, ever let anyone have the opportunity to do your signature. Never give anyone power of attorney. They can get you anywhere in the world to sign them, especially sign something now with DocuSign. So I literally sign everything. I'm not like one of those people who has like a stamp.
No, you sign every one of them.
I sign every single thing on my own.
Melissa, Robert from Dallas, Texas says that clearly you are the love of your mom's life, but we know that she also adored her fur babies. Any funny mom and her dog stories to share? And you have a love for dogs as well.
I do have a love for dogs as well. My mother's dogs were the most spoiled dogs in the world. I mean, everyone who knew her said, "I want to come back as one of your mother's dogs."
Right. They were very spoiled.
That is the truth. And I remember one time, one of my dogs, my mom, I think like had coughed up some grass, something like that. You know what I mean? Like something minor. It's like your dog goes out and eats grass and they're like, ah, and that's, it coughs back up. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, we have to go to the vet. We have to go to the vet." And I'm like, "Mom, no, we don't." "Yes, we do." I'm like, "Mom, just because the dog sneezes, we don't have to go to the vet." And my mother had one of those, like in New York, they had those mobile vets. I have never seen dogs at the vet more in my life.
Right.
I mean, literally, they would cough and she would run to the vet. She loved them that much.
Your mom good.
I could fall out a window and she'd be like, "Oh, you're fine. Get up. We have to go to work."
But it was
we can get you checked after work.
But when did she go to multiple dogs? We have so many animal stories when we look at the past. But I remember in the early 80s, there were a couple big German Shepherds, Shasta and...
Well, no, first we had Tiger and Sparky.
Okay.
And then we had Tiger, Shasta, and Sparky.
And Shasta almost ended my sex life.
Yes. Didn't like you, never did.
Not true. In the house, Shasta loved me. Out of the house, Shasta, like you, flipped that switch to a whole different personality and saw me outside and didn't know that I was the same guy that she was laying with inside and went for the crotch of my tuxedo pants on the way to the Emmy Awards in 1984.
Wow.
And missed it by that much.
Well, thank goodness.
Right. That's a whole different interview.
It's a whole different interview.
But you have a few dogs.
And then she got Spike.
Spike?
That was given to her as a gift when I was leaving for college.
From Marsha.
Our friend Marsha.
I hope you're listening. Larry Sherman wants to know if you'll autograph the book to Larry. Larry, that'll cost you $5 extra. I'm not sure if I bet you we can arrange to do that, Larry. Larry, if you can provide proof that you went to premiercollectibles.com/lies, we'll make it happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Larry, I don't even have an autographed book yet.
Do you want me to sign one to you right now?
No, I have my book right here.
Okay.
And
Fine.
I want you to know I have it. I started on the airplane on the way home. I still have a little ways to go. But my favorite part, Melissa, when you read the inside of first of all, the reviews, how you
Brilliant.
got Jimmy Hoffa to review your book. We've been looking for him for 45 years. But you got Jimmy Hoffa to write a review of your book. When Joan told a story, the truth disappeared faster than I did. Jimmy Hoffa.
Yep.
William Shakespeare. You got William Shakespeare to review this book.
I know. Isn't that
how are you guys?
crazy?
Who's your booker?
Yeah, I hustled. Sybil, 12 of her 26 personalities.
Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, I really was shocked at the response I got with people volunteering to give me quotes for the back.
Listen, Melissa, a lot of the shows that you've been going on, and you're on this crazy tour right now, so I'm not going to keep you too much longer. But how do we navigate through? And not only how would your mom navigate through it, but how are you navigating? How do we all navigate through cancel culture?
How do we not? I'm being told to sign books as we're talking.
Got it.
How would my mom navigate through cancel culture?
And you.
And me. I don't know. I think at this point, cancel culture would be part of her act.
Right.
And that's how she would be dealing with it. And I think she would be finding a way around it by complaining about cancel culture, and would say things like, well, I'm not allowed to say this anymore.
And I then get away with saying it.
And then get away with things.
But a lot of your mom's act was self-deprecating. So
yes, I don't mean to keep dropping out, but
you got to sign books.
I'm going to sign books at the same time.
We got to get Larry, buy your book. Buy the book. Great job, Melissa. Your mom would be so proud. The process to go on with purpose is so very important. That's from Summer McLaughlin. Larry Sherman's happy that he's getting a book.
Oh, good.
Lots of love. Nut Langley, lots of love to you, Melissa. Larry's going to buy the book right now. I shamed him publicly to go buy the book.
Always works.
Hello, Timothy Faber says that he loves you. Loved you. Bobby Mills loved you and your mom on the red carpet.
Melissa, thank you, everyone. Go buy the book.
Nice?
I had so much fun writing this. I can't begin to tell you.
D. Murphy says
it became my saving grace during COVID.
See?
And again, I just wanted something that was, you can pick this book up anywhere and open it to any page and laugh.
Right? See, no, that I love. And Melissa, it's funny, when you first told me about the book, there were so many conversations going on at the table that I couldn't really wrap my head around it. And I was like, oh my God, is it going to be funny? Is it going to be funny? And then Ye
of little faith.
No, I know, but you know me, I can be pessimistic. And listen, I didn't even have to open the book to start laughing. I laughed at the reviews on the back. I laughed at, D. Murphy says, we're both a ray of sunshine. I don't know if she's talking about you and your mom or you and me. Meryl,
clearly not you.
Meryl Rosner, the brain and anything off is still taboo, and why people live on the streets, not in treatment. Meryl, it's that's why we touched upon it today.
Because it's so important, and it's an ongoing problem.
Right. And we do need to talk about it on every platform, which is why I made sure that we brought it up today. I'm glad you brought it up, Melissa.
Well, I'm a board member of D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services and Suicide Prevention. You can go to our website, ddhirsch.org, and see all the great things we're doing. We have a huge announcement coming that I'm not allowed to say, but it's very exciting.
You're also part of Our House, which is a charity that you and I share a great fondness for, where I'll let you tell us what is the premise and the mission statement for Our House.
It's about, you don't have to grieve alone. To sum it up, that grief is normal. Grief is a part of life, and it's the most amazing grief counseling organization I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's spectacular. A mutual friend of ours, Joanne Lautman, founded that charity. And it is spectacular. premiercollectibles.com/lies to get a copy of Melissa's book, and it'll be an autographed copy of her book.
Yes, it will. I'm actually signing it as we speak. What else, Andy? What else can we talk
I want
about?
to find out. Well, I want to find out from you, what are parts of the book, without giving it away, that you and Larry had to be thankful that you were wearing adult diapers? Like, what
Oh
really
God,
just
there's a
just
lot.
laughed our head?
The first Thanksgiving, which was one of the first ones I wrote. The how the earth was created. That
Right.
was actually the first one I wrote. Love that. The story of Cain and Abel.
Yep.
One called The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse,
Got
about
it.
people who get married multiple times. And clearly they're lying each time they take their vows.
Right.
Those are some of my big hits that
What
I
was
love.
your mission statement when you were putting this book together? Because it had to take a lot of hours and a lot of dedication, a lot of time. I know you picked it up, you put it down, you picked it up, you put it down. Once you were all said and done, what would you say is what you really want to accomplish? And do you want to author more books? Is it something that you really have a passion for?
I do. I love writing. I love writing when I have a great co-author. And for me, it's about laughing. Like,
Right.
I would look forward to getting on that Zoom for 2, 3 hours and just laughing and having pages emailed back and forth and back and forth. And we would hit a point where we were like, okay, I need to read this out loud. And we would have these sessions where I would start to read everything we had written,
Got it.
and we would just cry with laughter. And we would just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And then you get in that place where you're like, oh my God, what if no one else thinks this is funny but us? And
Right.
we were kind of like, we had the best time writing it. Now we have 1 or 2 ideas for the next one.
Of
Julie,
course.
how do you get a copy? Go to premiercollectibles.com/lies.
Of course, we're talking about Lies My Mother Told Me, Tall Tales from a Short Woman, authored by Melissa Rivers, along with her writing partner, Larry Armoros, who is one of the funniest guys in the world. He has written for Joy Behar. He's on the road with Barry Manilow. He is. Listen, it's interesting too. You have to really trust your co-author, right? You have to trust someone who you can work with, who you can laugh with. Laughter is a guard that we think is just an automatic emotion from us, but to laugh with someone, to laugh so hard, is as treasured as crying with them. It's something that's a very treasured
Absolutely.
friendship.
Absolutely. And I've had where I've tried to write books with other people, and it just hasn't. I mean, I have written with other people, but this is my favorite one. This is the one I love working with the most.
Right. I
You
know
know,
you're
I
writing a
got a
book
couple
with.
other projects going, and I'm working on edits with people on different projects. And there's one, you have to really be enjoying it to do good work.
Right. Tell me about. I know you're starring in a movie with Brad Pitt. You're doing a
Yep.
special with the Kardashians.
Mhm.
George Clooney and you have a development deal at NBC. I
Mhm.
know that you're working with the Clinton Foundation
Yes.
on discovering what was it, hemorrhoid retractive surgery. I know you have
Yes.
so much on your plate.
Yes. And of course, the work I'm doing with the Obamas, I'm producing all on their Netflix deal.
Yeah, you're the EP on that, showrunner.
Mhm.
But here's what's so funny, this is why I freaking love this book. And by the way, everybody, Lies My Mother Told Me, Tall Tales from a Short Woman. We have a few minutes left. You've got to buy the book. I think we need to lie a little bit more. Dare I say? I'm
Well,
just,
I lie to you all the time when I say we're friends.
and when you say you love me, but I mean, like, little white lies. Listen, I'm all about trust. So I don't want anybody barking at
Thank
me.
you, Larry. Thank you, Belle. I see you guys just bought the book.
Thanks, you guys. That's 6 cents for me, Larry. 6 cents. But
3.
listen, Melissa, I'm not saying that we should go through life lying to people, but I do think that it's okay to create scenarios it's storytelling. No one's life was harmed in the writing of this book,
Nope.
right?
It may have
Uh,
done it might if Cooper reads it, it might do permanent damage to his psyche,
yeah, but he'll be all
but
right.
he'll be fine. As I
You
said to
make
him the other day, I'm like, "Don't worry, you only are a quarter genetically related to her at this
right,
point."
exactly. What
And
does
he just,
Cooper
by the
think
way,
of
and
the
he
book?
has great humor, so he just laughs.
Has he reviewed the book yet?
No, all I have sent him is the dedication. I sent him a picture of the dedication page, and he was laughing his ass off.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mel, before we go, I want to find out how I'm going to embarrass you a tiny bit, but how great is it that you found a vehicle that's allowing you not only to show everybody how smart you are, but how funny you are. And I have to say that that hasn't been a combo that we've seen a lot together, right? You've
Can you
either
go out
been
and sell a show? Can you go out and sell a show for me?
I probably will.
Yeah.
We'll get Barry
Um,
Posnick on the line.
yes, please.
But I think you're showing that I think this book is it's like allowing you to spread a new set of wings and showing a side of you that you have the ability to not only channel some of your mom's humor, which you've done through this book. I think she would approve of this book in a heartbeat, but you've also showed that you're yourself, that you are your own, that you're talented, that you're smart, and that you're a best-selling author. You're a great mom. You're a shitty friend. Pardon my
Yeah,
language,
that's true.
but sorry
To
for
you,
swearing.
though, just to you.
Just to me. But you're pretty fabulous. I'm proud of you. And
Oh, and I'm proud of
there's,
you. I sometimes even like your shit on Instagram.
do
That's how much
you?
I love you. Yes, you don't
You're
even
not,
look. You don't
you're not
even look in
hitting,
all of your likes that one of them is me.
but it's not you.
No,
It's,
that is me.
oh, it's
I
not
watch you
someone's,
on my private feed.
oh, it's not little people sitting in the basement hitting like.
No, 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 no.
I'm really touched.
No, no, I don't do that. And is anyone here fascinated by this really like damaged dynamic between me and my brother from another mother?
I'm
We
Melvin.
think from another mother?
Larry bought the book and Larry put in a confirmation.
Yay, Larry. Thank you.
So we need to 100% make sure that Larry gets an autographed book to Larry. And if it doesn't say to Larry,
I
just
don't
add it
know
with
how
a,
exactly to do that.
well, we have people who can make that happen,
If
Larry.
people can figure it out, I will do that. And Michelle, I will do the same for you.
Yeah, you're a star, Larry. We're going to get that done for you.
We will get that done. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to go through Premier Collectibles and they'll get it to me and I will do it and figure it all out. I would be more than happy to do that.
Okay, you got it. Sign my Michelle wants. I know we can't get into doing personal ones, but you guys, Melissa has a little bit of a weird thing where she shakes. So just get a black Sharpie and write your name above where her signature is in your book. No one will know the difference.
Robert, what do you want me? You guys have to contact Premier Collectibles for that because I can't just start taking down everybody's addresses as much as I'd like to. And to be honest, I would mess them all up.
Right. But
Because
there's got to be a way to do that.
there's got to be a way to do it. Yes. But you've actually seen me sign these. You've actually seen me.
Short woman.
See, you've actually seen me sign these. That is my scrawl.
Show me that again, Melissa. It looks like, is that Stevie Wonder? Show me again.
I have terrible handwriting.
No, you have good writing when you're not drinking.
It's true. See, there's my signature. Oops. Which way is the camera?
No, Melissa, I'm proud of you. I love you. You guys are awesome. We're going to wrap this up. There it is. XOXOXO. That's Melissa's age. XOXOXO.
Larry, do not give me your address.
Larry, you can't do that on here. Larry, we're going through to the murder channel. You can't do that. Larry, God bless you, Larry.
I can't do that. I'm not going to. Larry, and I love everybody that's logged on because I just enjoy laughing.
Wait, one more question before you go, because my phone is going off the hook, Melissa. I lost
our mutual friend, Sabrina.
I've told everybody to log on. This is Logan in Knoxville, Tennessee. What's the biggest takeaway you want your readers to gain? That's a great closing question, Logan. What's the biggest takeaway?
To just find time to just laugh,
Right.
and that it's okay to be silly.
Right.
And we've lost the ability to just lighten up. And there are plenty of times, probably about 23 hours of the day, where we need to be serious and
Right.
address all the drama and crazy insanity that is going on in this world.
Do not watch the news at night. Do not watch the news at night. That's my best advice.
Yeah, and that's what I hope with this book. The takeaway is I really laughed writing it, and if it's I hope I'm giving a gift back by having people laugh reading it.
No, listen, I think you've accomplished it, Mel. I'm proud of you. I can't wait to see the next book. And real quick to remind everybody, premiercollectibles.com/lies for what's I'm sure going to be a bestseller if it isn't already. Lies My Mother Told Me, Tall Tales from a Short Woman, written by Melissa Rivers. It's a work of nonfiction. A lot of what's in this
A
book
work
is
of
not true.
nonfiction. You just read my disclaimer wrong.
A work of nonfiction.
With non-crossed
with
out.
non-crossed out. A work of
Jesus, Andrew.
Sorry, it's the reflection in here. It's a work of fiction. Okay, and Larry, we love Fenway the Chihuahua. Larry, issues with Premier website paying for the book. Okay, Julie Stern says she's having issues paying for the book. Julie, hang in there. Where there's a will, there's a way. Melissa has 764 accountants who are working on this issue right now. Have faith. Okay, you're going to get the book, premiercollectibles.com/lies. It's available at other outlets. God forbid, Julie, if you can't get it here, but I will guarantee you, if there is an issue at premiercollectibles.com/lies, that they will fix it very shortly. For Melissa Rivers, I'm Andrew Krasny. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. It's been cathartic. It's been fun, and I'll do anything for $10,000. I love you. Melissa, who do I invoice?
Invoice. Oh, God, Andy, you weren't supposed to say that.
But we're going to wrap it up, and we have a really classy way to close the show on today, which is Melissa's 75th birthday. We love you. And I hope you join us
Never
again.
forget, Andrew, no matter how hard you try, you will always be older than me.
Always be older than you.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I was born with both sets of genitalia. We love you guys.
Goodbye.
That's it. We're out of here. Have a great one. I think there's supposed to be closing animation and credits.
I think so too.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.